We here at Mayhem Media
understand the trials and tribulations of life.
No matter how hard life can get.
Suicide is never the answer.
There's more assistance available today than ever before.
If you or a loved one are suffering from suicidal thoughts, please don't try and take it on alone.
Call or text 988 if you live in the U.S.
Or if you're in Great Britain, call 116123 or text 85258.
The world is a better place with you in it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mayhemtainment. I am your host, the bad guy of podcasting, J.D. And I'm being joined by a full roundtable for our Marvel Cinematic Universe episode. From Headlocks Heels and Havoc, and representing the Four Horsemen, we have the legend himself, J-Mac, alongside his co-host and tag team partner, Uncle Slam. Good to see you guys. Glad you guys are here.
What's going on? Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anytime. From the Nice Guy Andy podcast and the Superfly experience. And if I am the Arn Anderson of the Four Horsemen, he would have to be the Ric Flair, Superfly Johnny Lee.
What's up? What's up?
It's good to have you here, man. And of course, representing Mayhem Media, I had to bring one of my teammates along with all these other different groups. I had to bring one of my crew along, the Wolfman, the prediction specialist himself.
What's up?
Wolfman, glad you're here for some Marvel episodes instead of always talking about WWE.
Yeah, I can give you as much as I can, but my mouth is really sore.
Wolfman had dental work today, and he's still being bold enough to join us on this episode. So good for him for braving it out. I told him already we wouldn't even be having this episode if I had dental work done. Would already have been canceled.
Nothing to keep the Wolfman down, though, boss.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're going to talk about Iron Man 2, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of Thor, but let's talk about Iron Man 2 first. So, what are your thoughts on Iron Man 2, everybody? Let's start with you, J-Mac.
Honestly and truthfully, I rewatched it and everything because I'll be honest, it's been so long since I went back and watched some of those earlier MCU movies and everything. It's been so long since they came out. I went back and I watched it, and I'll be honest with you, it wasn't one that I really liked at first, but I like it a lot better now looking back on it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I won't say it was the best one of the group. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the individual Iron Man movies, the series itself. But for what it was, I enjoyed it. I didn't think Mickey Rourke was as bad of a bad guy as some of the others, but we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Yep, we'll be talking about this. Leave a comment if you're tuning in live. Let us know how you thought Mickey Rourke did his Whiplash, and then a separate comment. Leave a separate comment. Is Whiplash, was he a good follow-up villain to Obadiah Stane? Because I'm not so sure that he was, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Johnny Lee, what are your thoughts on Iron Man 2?
I thought Iron Man 2 was a perfect sequel because it gave you high stakes with Tony Stark's health being in question. Mickey Rourke was perfect as a villain that wasn't going to be A-list. Let's get that straight, because what better way to start out than to have one of Iron Man's villains that you're not exactly going to be driving over, but Mickey Rourke did a hell of a job with what he was given, so I have to give it to him. And also, what about Black Widow getting her first appearance inside this movie?
Excellent.
I thought that was fucking dope.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I know. I bet that it was J-Mac for obvious reasons.
We'll wait to circle back around with me. But yes, of course. And for someone, listen, I was a big Marvel fan, but I was not like I did not know who she was through that movie. It wasn't until after the movie was over and I did some research that I actually figured out who that was, because I was never a Super Avengers or Iron Man fan. I was always more of an X-Men fan than an Avengers fan, in the comic books and back in the 90s cartoons. Wolfman, what are your thoughts on the second Iron Man?
I was not a big fan of it, but it was decent enough to say it followed the story.
Yeah, that's
it just didn't. I personally don't like it when it's like, oh, they got the first one done. They start the next one in the series, but the two don't connect.
Yeah, there wasn't really just the underlying Tony Stark story, I guess, is really the only thing there that carried over. Uncle Slam, what are your thoughts on Iron Man 2?
I kind of liked it because at that point, Marvel, they were kind of just getting going and they didn't really have a whole bunch of misses. They didn't start really tuning out like really bad movies until kind of like a couple years ago. The first phase or two were pretty decent. I didn't like, well, I can't say all the way because at first I thought it was Iron Man 3. I had it mixed up. So I really hate the villain in 3 compared to 2. So I was actually kind of happy that it was Mickey Rourke and not the Mandarin or like whoever they had in the third Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
That guy that turned to fire.
Yeah. Let's hold off till we get to Iron Man 3 because I have plenty to say about that. But go ahead.
So like I said, it wasn't a bad movie. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like the first one better, maybe because the first ones always seem to be better.
Yeah.
Sequels, it's hard to have a sequel that's better than the original. I mean, there's a couple occasions, but most of the time the original is always going to be better. So I thought it was all right. Like I thought it was a decent sequel. I'm pretty sure it did all right at the box office too, or whatever. But I didn't find too many flaws. I mean, like I follow the comics a little bit, but I'm not hardcore, so I didn't have a whole bunch of issues with, the story or like anything like that. So yeah,
I get that.
It was decent. Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall Iron Man 2 was not a great movie overall, but they did have some good key points in there. The Black Widow making her debut, that was very big. I like the whole underlying story that Iron Man, his energy core is killing him. That they ran through that series in the comic books. That's actually a series in the comics where he's dying and becomes self-destructive. So I kind of like that they did that a little bit. But other than those two parts, I was not super. Of course, it was great to see War Machine make his debut. And you know what?
Even if it wasn't the one that we had.
Yeah, that's where we're going to open it up. Oh, wait, that's not the right one. Here we go. That's where we're going to open up more.
Terrence Howard or Don Cheadle.
Yeah, Terrence Howard or Don Cheadle for War Machine. Let's talk about that because that's obviously the whatever in the room is the fact that they did change Rhodey, War Machine, and from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle, and it was the first. It's the first. That was Marvel's first having to substitute a character out for a different actor, like swapping actors for characters. That's the first time it happened, and the fact that it happened that early, that was concerning to me. When I saw that they had to replace Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle, I thought, man, that's not good for the Marvel Cinematic Universe that they're trying to build to already be having to replace characters. Now, we've gotten lucky. They haven't needed to do that a lot. Oh, no, it wasn't the first time. Hulk. I'm sorry, guys.
Yep.
Hulk
Edward Norton get replaced.
Although we didn't get there. We're not there yet. Hulk hasn't been officially been replaced where we are in the in the timeline yet. That's why I didn't think of it. So actually, it was the first time because Hulk comes later. So, yeah. So what are your thoughts? J-Mac, what do you think? Terrence Howard or Don Cheadle for Rhodey?
I love Don Cheadle as an actor. I think he's a great actor. I like Terrence Howard as an actor.
Yeah.
I don't think that Don Cheadle gives off the action hero vibe the way that Terrence Howard does or could have. I've seen other movies with Don Cheadle. I think I mentioned this. He was in a movie called Colors with Sean Penn and Robert Duvall, and he was a gang leader. And there was nothing about him being a gang leader that intimidated me or anything like that. I don't feel that coming from him and any characters he plays. I feel like Terrence Howard could have taken that and ran with it more.
I think you're right a little bit on that one. He didn't really stray outside the box. Maybe he was a little concerned because he was replacing another actor. I'm not sure. Johnny Lee, what do you think on that?
Honestly, I think Terrence Howard was the better War Machine because I felt like once they replaced War Machine's actor, War Machine began to get little fanfare, a little bit less of a character arc for himself. And to the point where I feel like after Iron Man dies, what do we have left? Why isn't War Machine getting treated like he's going to be the new Iron Man?
Yeah, it's interesting. I would. I'm going to jump in here and then I'll throw it to Wolfman. I also think that Terrence Howard made a better War Machine than Don Cheadle, but the problem I had was that Terrence Howard wanted Robert Downey Jr. money to do Iron Man.
That was the
That's true. Contract disputes is what it was.
Yeah, and that's just stupid. You're not going to get you're the secondary character. You're not going to get the main star money when you're the secondary character. That's just stupid.
And that's horrible for him to be thinking like that.
Yeah, and if he'd have just waited, he'd have got his huge pay bump at
the end he would have got it, but he got greedy and was trying to get it a little too soon.
Yeah,
but I kind of understand from his point of view because he knows that he's not a big A-list actor like all the guys that they bring in, like Robert Downey Jr. This man was going to make that money, but him, Terrence Howard, ain't no guy that's going to be making that kind of money. That got to his head.
I argue that if he'd have let himself grow into War Machine, he'd have been necessary. I think by Avengers, you wouldn't have been able to replace him at that point. You'd have had to pay him at that point. That's my opinion.
I don't think that I think if he would have kind of sat down and hushed for a minute, that by the time the Avengers came around, he wouldn't have been War Machine wouldn't have been so much of a secondary character. It could have he could have been a primary superhero.
Yep, I agree with that. Wolfman, what are your thoughts on Don Cheadle or Terrence Howard for War Machine?
Personally, think Terrence Howard had more of the connection.
Yeah.
Then the other guy just he didn't give me the military background character.
Yeah.
Because I myself have family in the United States military.
Yeah.
So I know when I see military people, I know. And the other guy, it was more like a cadet more than a lieutenant.
Yeah. I think I agree with that too. Uncle Slam, what are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, it really didn't matter to me. To me, it seemed like it was plug and play. I could have been okay with Terrence Howard. I would have been okay with Don Cheadle. It really didn't make that much difference to me. I definitely agree with you about the whole, he got too greedy, and if he had just waited, he would have got his money in the end. I know when it came to Don Cheadle, they gave him a couple hours to decide because he was at his kid's birthday party, so he had to sign a 3-picture deal and figure it out within I think a couple hours. So he was yeah, and then in the end, he eventually got all it. He got paid at the end. Like I said, to me, it really didn't make that much difference. Honestly, I don't think I even really knew or noticed until somebody said something to me. So it really, if somebody's got to tell me they swapped out people, then obviously it's not that big a deal to me.
Yeah,
I didn't know at first that he was playing the same character.
No.
You thought he was playing someone different?
Man, I just didn't know it was the same character because I hadn't heard the name yet or anything used. So I was I was like, oh, okay, that's his character. Okay.
Yeah, that is Colonel.
But it wasn't oh God, no,
No,
I consider it fair because they replaced him, but you did not know that he was replaced yet until you actually get the name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think. I think I agree with you guys, Wolfman and Uncle Slam. Don, I wish we had Andrew here. Andrew Paletto joined us 2 weeks ago for the first episode. I wish he'd have been back here because he kind of made a similar comment to Uncle Slam did about Pepper Potts kind of being like a plug and play character, if you will.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't really really matter who is that. I would argue against that, but we'll save that for another episode. But I do understand, especially Rhodey. He wasn't a big character yet. If you're gonna have to replace him, I think early is the best time to do it.
See,
Johnny,
I wasn't a big
second, buddy. All right, I'm going to mute you for just a second. We're getting some loud background noise from you, so I'm going to keep you muted for a minute. No, it's cool. I'll unmute you in just a minute. Let me unmute you in just a minute when we get back to you, and we'll. It's all good, man. It's nothing personal. I just want to make sure it's not coming through over top of everybody else. That's all. J Mac, you were saying something?
I was just going to say, you know, I don't deny the chemistry that Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow had, but she would not have been my first choice for Pepper Potts.
Nope.
That's interesting.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I thought it was an interesting choice. Like, again, as someone who's a known actor, actress, like Robert Downey Jr. was known, but he wasn't like an A-lister. And I think Gwyneth Paltrow kind of fell right into that category where she's known enough, but not, you know, overpriced. Like, they didn't need to break the bank in order to get her, is why I think she fit the role really well. And I think she did a good job at the character, at being Robert Downey, you know, Iron Man's assistant and that type of thing. I thought the love story happened a little quickly. That was my kind of thing. I thought that happened a little fast in the movies.
And, like, you know, even with the whole Robert Downey Jr. being an A-lister, I feel like he kind of like floated in and out of being an A-lister because of his addiction.
Yeah,
like right around the time he did Charlie, you know, he was on his way to being an A-lister because he nailed that role. But then, of course, you know, fate stepped in and intervened, and, you know, we got what we got. So he was kind of rewriting his name on the A-list with Iron Man.
Yes, I completely agree with that. Yeah, he was someone who wasn't considered a big actor at the time, but has that star quality and that star presence. Johnny Lee,
he had shown it before, yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Lee, do you want to anything? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait 1 second, Johnny Lee. J Max. So let's also give final comments on Iron Man 2 and give the review. How many headlocks do you give Iron Man 2? Just based on the movie itself. Remember, not like as part of the overall MCU. Just judge it as an individual movie.
And we're doing out of how many?
I think Don Cheeto.
I think we did it at 5. I think it was out of 5.
Okay, so out of 5, I'd probably give it about 3.5 headlocks.
3.5 headlocks. All right, Johnny Lee, what are your final thoughts, and then give it your grade on.
My final thoughts are is that it did what it had to do to help ease into the MCU before big things started happening. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars.
Okay, Wolfman. How many Jolly Rogers? Remember, you're on Mayhem, so we give it Jolly Rogers. They give it headlocks. Johnny Lee's the Superfly one, so he gives out the stars, and we give out the Jolly Rogers. So, out of 5 Jolly Rogers, how many do you give it?
I probably give it a 3.
A 3? Uncle Slam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of like everybody else. Like, it wasn't like the best Marvel movie, but it wasn't terrible. It was kind of like middle of the road. So I would, like I said, about 3 at the most, maybe a 3.5 headlock, something like that. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I'd watch it again. Like I said, I mean, it's not something I would go out and search for, but if it came on, like, I wouldn't turn it off or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of those movie like that.
Yeah. All right. Actually, I think now that we went through everything, it might have been out of 10 on the first episode. I actually have to go back and check that out, and then we'll clarify and get on the same page for the next episode to make sure we're all using the same rating system.
It was still out of 5 stars, I remember.
Was it? Okay, good. So it was out of 5. All right, I'm going to give it also a 3 out of 5. I wasn't a big fan of the overall movie itself. Actually, I did put this up. If anybody wants to talk about it, what your favorite scene was. This was one of my favorite scenes in the movie, the final scene where War Machine and Iron Man get to fight together. So, but other than that, I think the underlying story with Iron Man and him needing to find a new core because his original core was killing him, and of course Black Widow. I think all of those little things saves the whole movie as a whole. That's kind of what I think.
It does.
Does anybody want to talk about their favorite scene before we go to Thor?
I do. Go ahead. Go first, Wolfman.
If you guys remember from the racetrack scene when Whiplash comes out and attacks Tony, and Happy Hogan throws him his suitcase.
Yeah.
And Tony just steps on it like a trash can lid, and it just turns into a freaking Iron Man suit. And I'm like, shit, I wish I had one of those.
That was a great scene. Yeah, seeing
I'm like, that's badass. And I'm like, shit.
Starting the movie with the evolution of his suits. That was also a really key point, because that's a point with Tony Stark. He's always making a new suit. You know, he's always up for that new Mark suit and whatever. So, J-Mac?
I was just going to say, I argue that there's one scene in this movie that probably is the most important scene that nobody really talks about, but everybody does talk about, is the little boy.
Yep.
Because how many years have we sat and wondered and listened? Is this going to be the next Iron Man? You know, is this going to be?
It wasn't.
You know, is it the protege little kid? You know, from what was it, Iron Man 3 or something, that where the boy was grown up and everything? You know, there's never been any confirmation or denial as to who that little boy was and why that scene was so important. But yet, here we are.
I heard it was Peter
years
Parker.
Later.
That's what I thought you were going at. That's the Easter egg I heard, that it was potentially Peter Parker, that the age matches up with the timeline, that it was potentially Peter Parker.
Yeah. That's got to be all I'm going to do for the show, but boss, my mouth is really hurting.
No problem, man. Why don't you head out then? We'll handle it, man.
All right. Good luck, guys.
Stay easy, Wolfman.
Take it easy, man.
We'll carry on without Wolfman. We're gonna go to the 4 box now. So yeah, we appreciate Wolfman for hanging in there and joining us for the first half of the episode. Dental work's no joke. Like I said, we wouldn't even be having this. We wouldn't even be having this episode if I had it. So, anybody else want to talk about their favorite scene?
Might have to be the first introduction to Black Widow.
Yep, that's a really good scene too. Yeah, especially when she kicks Happy Hogan's ass. I really do like that. That's good.
I can't think of a bad scene that Scarlett Johansson's in the whole series.
I thought you were going to talk about when she was changing in the car or something, like was your favorite scene or something like that. I swear, J-Mac, I thought that's what you were going to go to, when she was changing the
It's
suit.
definitely up there.
I would argue that that's one of her worst scenes, because it's about her look and not about the Black Widow. It's about her being a woman changing in the back seat and not anything to do with anything. I guess it's supposed to show that she's changing clothes to get ready and stuff, but I would argue, well, it's not a bad scene.
It's a little fan service for people or whatever.
I'll also think about this in the future. When we do get to it, you'll realize why it's such a bad scene for her, because a certain someone likes to sexualize his women characters.
Is that right?
Yeah. Josh Whedon.
We're gonna save that for another time, but we'll have to have a conversation after the show, Johnny Lee, and discuss that a little bit more.
Yep.
All right, Slam, did you want to talk about your favorite scene, or did you already get to?
I don't know if I really have a favorite scene. I kind of like the opening, like when I guess that he's jumping out of that airplane. It's got the big music. It's got the fireworks. He comes in, kind of does a superhero, landing, and then the armor comes off or whatever, and
big entrance.
Also was the part where he was testifying in front of Congress or whatever, on all the other suits that were supposed to be, that
they're concerned about,
and they're all like basically just pale imitations. People are dying, shit blowing up, and he's basically clowning. What's his name? Hammer, yeah, Justin Hammer or whatever his name is. I kind of enjoyed that a little bit. So
excellent. Yeah, I like that too.
I tell you, a cameo in this series that I really liked was Gary Shandling playing the president.
Oh yeah. Oh, was he a president or a senator? I thought he was a senator.
He was the senator in charge of the in charge of the arms committee.
Yeah.
Okay, but I thought it was cool because I remember Gary Shandling passed away not long after that. I never was a big fan of Gary Shandling. I remembered the show that he had on HBO, and I think it was just where was so much younger and the show came out and everything. I didn't get it, whenever his show was out for my age. But it was just cool to see him pop up again and them give him, a little bit of props before he ended up passing on.
Yeah. I like his little message at the end when he's putting the pin on him. And,
a little prick.
It's just a little prick.
And be annoying. That was great. That was a real great one. And I forgot about this. We don't have any commenters, but that's all right. I think Obadiah Stane was a stronger character.
He was.
I think Whiplash. I think Mickey Rourke did, like Johnny Lee said. I think Mickey Rourke did a great job with what he had with Whiplash, and being that character did have Russian origins. Mickey Rourke can play a good Russian, so I think he had a good role, and I think he did as much as he could with it. I don't think there was a lot there for him to do with it. I think Whiplash was kind of like an in between. Like Iron Man 2 is almost like a transition movie. Like, okay, we're wrapping up everything from Iron Man 1, and then here's where we're going to be going in the future into Avengers and Iron Man 3. It's more of I always viewed it as more of a transition movie than I did like it's like its own standalone movie.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can see that.
Because think about it. It's the in between before we start getting Thor, Captain America, and building up to the Avengers. Yeah. So he's a good enough villain to play a one-time villain. So who else would you have gotten to be Whiplash? Mick Rourke did a hell of a job.
Yeah, he did. And then let's talk about the post-credit scene to Iron Man 2, because we forgot about that. My bad on the last one. I got them mixed up and forgot to talk about one on the first episode. I don't want to forget that this time. So the post-credit scene for Iron Man 2. What do you guys think?
I don't remember that I watched all the way through to it. So you're going to have to jog my memory.
Go ahead, Slam.
It's where the hammer at the end, I'm trying to tell Legend or whatever. It's basically what's his name? I can't think of the federal agent. What's his name? Coulson. Yeah, Coulson pulls up into the desert, and they basically find Thor's hammer sitting there.
Yeah,
I remember now.
Sir, I think we found something you should look at. And then it shows Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
I think that was a good post-credit scene and to tease it.
Yeah, good setup. It doesn't matter like that was early. The Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk scenes were a little bit more elaborate, even though they were short. They were still a little bit more elaborate. This is the first one that it was just like just a little thing, the hammer, and I still think it worked perfectly.
It sure did.
Yeah, let you know what was next and who to expect next and stuff. So I really enjoyed it. So then we go into Thor. Unfortunately, I don't have a visual. I just have this one for the thing. So Thor, Chris Hemsworth is Thor. I think that's another great casting choice. Odin, Anthony Hopkins is Odin. Probably that's number 2 on the list, right after Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, I think, or maybe 3 because Sam L. Jackson as Nick Fury was a hell of a pick too. But Anthony Hopkins is right up there in terms of casting choices. And I think,
has Anthony Hopkins ever done anything that's been bad?
I don't have an answer to that. No, not that I'm aware of. If anybody,
that's what I'm saying.
He's not. Trust me.
That knows of something that he did that was bad, please let me know.
Trust me, he's never done any bad role. Any role he's given, he turns it into fucking gold. Even if it is a bad role, it becomes great.
Yeah, he played an amazing Odin. I was really like, Thor was the one movie in the franchise, in the beginning movies that I really wasn't sure about because I am not. I mean, he's a god.
Don't get Tom as Loki.
Tom Hiddleston as Loki did a great job too, but Thor, I wasn't a huge fan of Thor because it's like the Superman thing. I don't like gods. I don't like when you can't be defeated. Then I'm not interested in it.
I raise you this.
So
Thor and Superman have always had their asses kicked, even though they're portrayed as being these ultra overpowered, superpowered guys that can't be beaten. Every comic I've read with them, their asses get handed to them.
Yeah, true. But that was one of the reasons why I wasn't a huge fan of Thor. When
I
it
get
came
that.
out. After I watched it, I was like, okay, this is good. Chris Hemsworth did a great job. Anthony Hopkins was just, I wanted to see so much more of Odin. I mean, I was like, give me an Odin movie with Anthony Hopkins. Are you kidding me?
Sadly, we wouldn't get it because Odin's not really a big part of the.
No, he's not. No, he's not. So we got him for what we got him. And what's her name?
Natalie Portman.
Michelle. No, we'll talk about her. I'm saving her for last for many
yeah.
reasons. Who was it? Not Michelle Pfeiffer.
Renee Russo.
Renee Russo. Thank you, Renee Russo as Odin's wife. Oh, I'm totally drawing a blank on her name now too. Frida.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know because
it's Freya.
The Thor movies. These are the movies that I loathe the most in this series. I don't know what it was. There was nothing about the Thor movies that made me excited to watch them. Like I rewatched the movie just to get ready for this. And I wanted to fast forward through so much of the movie. I don't know. I can
answer that for you. Do you want me to answer that for you? I can tell you why that is, J-Mac.
Because I like Chris Hemsworth as the choice.
Yeah.
But I also didn't like it too at the same time.
I'm gonna disagree with you, and I'm gonna tell you the reason you didn't like it was for the same reason that I don't like certain aspects of it also, and that's because of Natalie.
No Scarlett Johansson.
Natalie Portman. I'm not a Natalie Portman fan. I have a Natalie Portman problem. Okay, I don't like her. I don't think she's been good. It's the exact opposite of Anthony Hopkins. Show me something she's been good at.
I love her as Padme.
Why?
But that's just because I'm a Star Trek fan.
Through
from the old days.
You just got hate mail. Oh, you just got so much hate mail coming your way now.
That's all right. But I mean, I didn't. It's not like that. It's not like I've ever seen anything where she's given an Oscar-worthy performance or anything like that. But I also I understand why people don't like her a whole lot. But I don't think she's as horrible as everybody makes her out to be.
I disagree. I think, and I would argue Uncle Slam's point about the Star Wars thing. I think that's a plug and play role. I think you could plug anybody else into that role and get a better acting experience than you got out of Padme. Out of Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman has one good scene out of all the movies that I've seen her in. She has one good scene, and it's in the Star Wars movie, and it's after they make Sidious the emperor when they crown him the supreme chancellor, giving him all the powers. She has one good line, and it's when they're all applauding, and she says, "So that's how liberty dies, in thunderous applause." It's the only good line she has in any movie that I've ever seen. Okay, and
I have to disagree.
Yeah, no, I have a huge Natalie Portman problem, and we're going to be talking about her because unfortunately she's in all the other Thor movies because I don't know
right.
why. I don't know why. Maybe the director has
last Thor one pissed me off.
No, we're going to save it for that. Trust me, I'm going to go on a 10-minute rant. Y'all are going to have to shut up for 10 minutes when we get to Thunder, I can assure you. But yeah, I'm not a Natalie Portman fan. I don't think she brought anything. In fact, she annoyed the crap out of me through the whole thing. I just wanted Thor to just take his hammer and just make her unconscious.
But of course,
I'm not.
That's how you really feel.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear her talk, man. I'm not a Natalie Portman fan. I don't like her. And I don't
wait.
Anything in the movie. She did nothing.
She's like, that one scene whenever Thor comes out of the sky with the axe and plants it right in Thor or Thanos' chest? Yeah, I wish that was Natalie Portman in that movie.
I thought she was already gone when she came back in Love and Thunder. You should have seen me. Dude. I saw on TV. I saw a commercial. I threw things in the air. I'm like, what is this, Jet? I mean, I went crazy, man. Why would you bring her?
I mean,
I will never watch another one.
I get it that they're trying to do female Thor because of the comic books, but come on, why you have to bring Natalie Portman back for it?
Yeah, I know. Just give us somebody else. Anyway,
I don't have anything against her, but it's kind of like you said before. Like if they put somebody else in there, I don't think it would have mattered to me. I can take her or leave her. You know what I'm saying? Like I think if you had put somebody else, it would have been the same movie. It might have been better. I don't, but I'm not a
I
huge
forgot
fan
she
of her,
was in
so
the
I don't
movie.
dislike her. Like, she's just all right.
Yeah, I didn't forget.
I forgot she was in the movie. That's how
I
much
wish
it
I
meant
could
to
forget
me.
she was in the movie.
I think she was
I
all
really
right in the
could.
Star Wars movies as Padme or whatever and shit. But
I can't stand her
The
there.
best
either.
part of those movies was when she actually dies.
I thought somebody was going to say that. Be like,
I mean, after what I just said, I couldn't add more to it. I'm already going to get hate from the Hammer remark, I'm sure. So, but overall, I mean, the movie itself. Do I have any visuals for that? I think I only have the Anthony Hopkins one. Yeah. Again, Anthony Hopkins, and those are the three guys right there. I mean, you want to talk about casting
yep,
choices? The only
perfect choices.
Yeah, the only one I'm missing is Idris Elba as Heimdall, which I also thought was a fantastic casting choice.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that was him until I went back and watched Thor.
I know, man. You're totally right. Like, I didn't actually. I watched through that whole movie. I did not realize who that was. I knew he was somebody. I'm like, I know him. Who is that?
I knew exactly who it was when I saw him because I'm like, damn, man, everybody's in this movie. This is like shit. Everybody's famous.
They really ran.
So I have a question for everybody. If you had to go and replace Hemsworth and Hopkins for this movie, who do you replace them with? Because we've already heard that you could plug and play anybody for Natalie Portman, but you can't just do that with these two. So who do you pull out and put in as?
You know what? If you don't choose Chris Hemsworth, I think I would roll the dice and I would let Tom Hiddleston have a crack at it. He's the one. He auditioned for Thor first until they offered him Loki. He wanted to be Thor first. So if you're not going to choose Chris Hemsworth, I would roll the dice and give it to Tom Hiddleston, the guy who played Loki.
Or maybe Henry Cavill. I don't know. I mean, that's the first person that pops in my head. Maybe Henry Cavill if he wasn't doing Superman.
Cavill, yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I just don't see Middleton being big enough.
That's why they didn't go with him. That's why
they
didn't go with him. He just didn't have the physique that they wanted. But without. I mean, you get rid of Chris Hemsworth, and I think I would roll the dice, and I would let Tom Hiddleston get a chance. I'd be like, you got 6 months, dude. Bulk up.
That's right. 6 months. You better get your ass.
Yeah. You got 6 months, bro. Bulk up now.
It's going to be a lot harder though.
Anthony Hopkins. Man,
I'm gonna steal an answer off of what somebody said on one of your posts. Okay, and I think Liam Neeson could have pulled it off.
Liam Neeson, man, maybe he might be the only other choice because I was just thinking about
right.
I don't know if I could pick anybody else that would really be able to pull off Odin.
Because he's got to have an accent. He's got to have that English Scottish accent.
See, I was thinking that, but I was thinking the guy who played in like Lord of the Rings, but like he's not big. I mean, he doesn't.
Vigo?
Ian McKellen.
Yeah, like he doesn't have that presence. You know, he's English. Of course, he's old or whatever, but like he just doesn't have the same presence. I think as Anthony Hopkins brings to the. I don't know. That's just a really hard choice right there, man, to replace him. I don't think you really can.
No, I don't think you can. I think even Ian McKellen or even Liam Neeson, I think you get a different Odin. You get a completely different Odin.
Oh, I do too. You get the Odin that, he's got a particular set of skills and, he don't need Thor or anybody else. He's just going to come mess you up.
Just as long as you don't cast Nicolas Cage because he'll come in there and think
oh my God.
You know what? I'm just The Punishers are not part of this series. All right, let's just be clear.
That's true. Because
he's been banished.
Here's the thing: the Punisher ain't got no MCU movie, so he's basically out of it.
No, he's gonna actually. I'm sorry, Johnny Lee. I don't want to pee in your cornflakes, buddy. But there's rumor is he's actually gonna come back for the Ghost Rider. They're gonna bring him back.
He is coming. Yeah, it's been announced already.
Yeah,
Nicolas Cage is coming back for Ghost Rider.
Yeah, they're gonna bring him back.
Like a cameo or like as an actual, like
part of the multiverse thing.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna be. Is he gonna be the Ghost Rider in the universe that we're following, or are they bringing him in as a Ghost Rider from the alternate universe? I don't know if that's been confirmed yet.
Yeah, it's been confirmed. He is from. They are bringing his Johnny Cage or whatever Ghost Rider back.
Okay,
which
so
I'm okay with. I honestly, I didn't mind those movies.
I don't mind.
The first one was better.
I don't
The
care
first
about
one was
movies.
definitely the best one.
I don't care about the movies, but I don't mind that Marvel is doing this. I think it plays right into the whole multiverse thing. You couldn't have done. How about this? You couldn't have done the multiverse the way they're doing it now. Had all these other movies, all the other Spider-Man movies, the Punisher movies, the X-Men movies. We wouldn't be able to do the multiverse had all those other movies not come out. We'd be getting just random characters being the alternate universe of somebody instead of seeing somebody that we know that has played the character. It's perfect.
Like, I am so excited. I'm so excited that Lou Ferrigno is coming back to play the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And also still voicing
one of the different versions of.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. Is he gonna play? I hear he's gonna play the Red Hulk.
No. He's playing his Hulk.
Oh, they're gonna bring him in as his Hulk from the universe. Oh,
yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
Interesting.
Just as long as they don't do what that stupid ass Flash movie did, where they use CGI to have all these characters come back.
Let's just make sure we're all clear that Marvel and DC are at least very different. That Marvel got together, they put somebody in charge of the universe, and they said we want continuity.
Yep, Kevin Feige.
DC doesn't do that. That's why I'm not a DC fan, because
they do continuity.
I don't need to see a new Batman every 5 years.
James Gunn's the new continuity guy. He's there, Kevin Feige.
I'm hoping
still not doing it.
I'm hoping that with Warner Brothers selling off its assets, that somebody is going to get a hold of this and bring a DC universe and start. I don't even know if you need a hard reset.
It's already got 2 movies happening. The first one already came out, Creature Commandos. Now Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which has Lobo, and you got projects that's being made. So there's already something at the helm.
The Superman that came out.
I hear the
Superman that came out last year.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear the WB universe has been the closest thing that DC has to like a continuity of universe. Because the Green Arrow and the Flash.
Think about it.
Yeah, kind of.
DC had a horrible run of movies because WB couldn't keep their fingers off the pulse. They wanted to try and shoehorn and force an MCU type deal before they could even establish the universe.
That's why they fumbled the Justice League.
Yep.
Do you think they messed up on that because they don't have somebody like, how Marvel makes all theirs in-house? It's one company making just Marvel products. Do you think that DC needs to kind of do the same and just have somebody in charge of just doing DC movies and that's all they do? They don't do anything else? Then they probably get their shit together?
Yeah, I think they need a Kevin Feige or Feige. I'm not sure how to pronounce
that's who James Gunn is. He's their Kevin Feige. He's the one that's being.
He's trying, but
nothing goes through without him saying okay to their script. If the script sucks, he's going to tell them.
He's starting to, but they don't have. He doesn't. Who he works for doesn't have all of the rights to all of the movies yet.
That's true.
The sad thing
kind of piecing it together.
But the sad thing about it is we were on track with that. If they would have just gotten out of Zack Snyder's way, and let Zack Snyder do what Zack Snyder was doing. I watched the Zack Snyder cut all 4 hours, and
so did I.
That was probably the best DC movie I have seen in a while. And the reason it was because the Justice League, as opposed to the theatrical version. But it explained why these boxes were cracking open. It explained why this was happening, why that was happening. No, we didn't need a 4-hour movie to do that. They could have broke it up into a couple of movies, but it's because they screwed that up and dropped the ball with. I mean, I don't think anybody had a problem with Aquaman and Jason Momoa playing Aquaman. I don't think anybody had a problem with Gail Gadot playing Wonder Woman. No. I think she done a great job. Superman, he done a great job. The only issue was the kid that was playing Flash. He had his, off-screen problems. But as far as on-screen, he did a good job as Flash. Yeah. They had a core there.
And if they were, this is the other thing I didn't think of, because I don't know why they didn't do this. And I thought it was when they were building the Justice League movie. I thought they were going to incorporate the Dark Knight trilogy into their universe and have Batman return for Justice League. Why wouldn't you just, even if you're casting someone else, right? Even if you're not using Christian Bale for Batman, and I can understand why you wouldn't want to do that, wouldn't you try and keep the continuity of that universe, of the Batman universe you just spent 3 movies making? Why are we getting another new Bruce Wayne for the Justice League when all of
Exactly.
these
Could have
movies
had Ben Affleck
followed
play the
the Dark
older
Knight trilogy.
version of that Batman.
Why couldn't we just have them and continue on like you did it? You had your 3 Batman movies, then you did
that
Henry
would have been the
Cavill's
smartest
Batman,
thing that they
Superman.
could have done. And what did they do? They said, no, we're going to just start from scratch. We're going to change this Batman into being our type of Batman. We're going to completely ignore the Dark Knight trilogy ever happened.
And that's also where they screwed the pooch on casting. They did great casting choice, like you just said. Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, and Henry Cavill as Superman. Great choices. And then you give us Ben Affleck as Batman. What?
I know, right?
I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with Ben.
He's not the worst Batman, but he's not the best Batman.
He wasn't the best.
I will say
he wasn't the best,
his Batman.
But he was old. He was beat up. He wasn't meant to be, young Bruce Wayne. He wasn't meant to be Nolan. He was supposed to be the Batman that
the Dark Knight, the older one, yeah.
Right. The Tony Stark that I know I can't do this by myself. One, I'm just a human being and my body's wearing out. And there's only so many machines I can make that are going to help me defeat people. So I need to get these people together. He was the leader of it more than he was the superhero of it.
They killed a Robin before we ever had any kind of connection to this Robin. So we're supposed to believe that because he lost his Robin 20 years ago, he stopped being Batman. And suddenly he's back to being Batman because this superhero type Superman, alien type is back in action.
I don't think that Affleck was the problem. I think the version of Batman that they gave him to play was the problem.
If they would have recast and had Ben Affleck play the Christian Bale Batman, like this, this is your history and this is what we're going to go off of, it might have been a little bit better. But I think having another new Batman is just was not the way to go. That's the problem with DC is that there's no continuity. We never get past the origin, the tragedy, and the old man. Yeah. That's what we get with Batman every time we get Batman.
Well, the new one, didn't they finally get past it, or they didn't?
Yeah, they got a dark emo kid playing Batman now. Yeah, that works. That
Robert, that one is Elseworlds, though.
I didn't mind that Batman either.
No, it was a good Batman.
I didn't like him that much and stuff. Like he's growing on a little bit, but
they still got the wrong Batman.
Like when I heard Robert Pattinson as Batman, my first reaction was like, I look at him as the little twinkly vampire from Twilight.
The glowing vampire.
Yeah,
I will say that in Robert Pattinson's defense, this Batman that he's playing is not inside the main DC universe. This Batman is separate. That's why.
But they're doing a great job.
Real person put on a Batman suit that he crafted.
But HBO's making a universe off of that Batman. HBO's doing the whole Batman
which
universe
is stupid because,
off of Robert Pattinson's Batman.
I mean, they technically have. They made the Batman. They made Joker 2019, Joker 2, which fucked that up.
But the Joker movies aren't even inside any DC universe. They're standalone movies too.
Which is stupid because they were supposed to be Elseworlds because they had Robert Pattinson's Batman, which is the Sun version of them in the movie.
I don't think Joaquin Phoenix is the best Joker.
His Joker thing.
And
that's the thing is, I don't like when I see a Batman, I break it down into 3 things. To me, the best Bruce Wayne I have ever seen, and the person who fit the Bruce Wayne mold the best was George Clooney. Playboy.
Damn,
I didn't say he did it. I didn't say he did a good job. I'm talking about visuals.
Superfly.
I know. I'm talking about visuals. George Clooney looked the part of a Bruce Wayne. Now, he did not do a good Batman. No. Michael Keaton was not a good Bruce Wayne, but Michael Keaton was a good Batman. I didn't believe Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne. It was believable enough to get by.
I think that was the movie. I think that was movie production. They didn't put Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne in those high profile parties. He spent most of that movie in the bat suit.
Yeah.
So I will be honest with you. If you are going to, for my money, if you're going to combine,
it's coming.
If you're going to combine who is the best Batman, who is the best Bruce Wayne combo, to me it was Val Kilmer.
I knew he was going to say
I knew that was coming.
I knew
think about it.
That's why I warned him. I said, I'm going to have to kick you out of here, J-Mac. You understand that, right?
He was enough of a superhero and had that look to be able to play the Batman role and make it believable. But he was also a good-looking enough guy to play the playboy and make it believable as well.
I would have to disagree.
Name one that's better doing both parts.
I would argue Michael Keaton is the best all-around Batman, Bruce Wayne that we've got.
Christian Bale did not play a good Bruce Wayne.
He was better.
Like, Uncle Sam, you're about to get both of you guys. All right, Headlocks Heels Havoc, you're kicked out.
I feel like okay, here's my take. I feel like Michael Keaton was good, but I think because nobody had seen a Batman movie in so long, because this was what, early 90s or early 90s and stuff.
Late 80s.
That was the time when movies kind of made a huge comeback. Jurassic Park, Batman came out. There was huge advertising. It was a big production, and we hadn't seen a Batman movie, so everybody was kind of jumping on it. Of course, we've got a million since, so everybody's kind of a little like, okay, another Batman movie. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of played out a little bit. But to kind of go with J Mac saying is, I never liked Val Kilmer. I wasn't a big fan of George Clooney.
I'm a fan of Val Kilmer.
With the whole bat nipples and shit. I'm sorry. I'll never forget that. I can't. I felt like, and this is my opinion. I like Christian Bale would be my best Batman. Then George Clooney, not George Clooney, but then Michael Keaton, and then so and so with like a Val Kilmer, probably being last. Honestly,
well, you're all fired.
Mine's still Michael Keaton. That's the best Batman.
Johnny Lee, please say something worth of some value here, please.
My favorite Batman has always been Michael Keaton.
Thank you. Thank
the best overall Batman that
I'm not saying that he wasn't my favorite. I'm saying that he didn't do a good job playing Bruce Wayne.
But here's the thing.
My argument again.
I look at it as who is the best that played both roles.
Here's the thing, though.
I think he can play Bruce Wayne. I don't think they gave him the opportunity to in the movie.
Exactly.
I don't think he did because he was Michael Keaton. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
His Bruce Wayne wasn't given the playboy philanthropist attitude.
Yeah.
His was portrayed to be an awkward type guy,
recluse,
which made it so much believable that him being Batman, you wouldn't think that this guy that's a billionaire, that's reclusive, awkward, and just over out there would be Batman.
Yeah, that's why I think Michael Keaton, because I think he did play Bruce Wayne. I think he played the Bruce Wayne that the director and the writers gave him to play. They gave him a recluse, someone who had spent time in his mansion, who doesn't really come out. Of course, he has Wayne Enterprise. Everybody knows who he is. Of course, he does charity work. But other than that, other than when you see him out, doing charity work, he's in his home. He's not out in public. So I thought he was
having parties and stuff at his house. So he wasn't that much of a recluse.
He had that party. That's what I'm saying. I think that the reason it looked awkward was by design. I think it was him opening himself back up to the town, and he hadn't done it in a while. I think that's the reason it looks awkward. I think it was by design.
I just wasn't sold as him.
I do understand what you're saying, Jake.
Yeah,
I do understand what you're saying about his Bruce Wayne, but I think that was the Bruce Wayne he was given to play. That's why
here's a key thing that's also being missed about that is that no one knew what Bruce Wayne looked like at the time of that party. Not until he's come up behind the guy and he just tells the guy exactly what he's looking at, and the guy's like, "Oh." After Bruce Wayne introduced himself.
Well, and to what Uncle Slam was saying too, up until that point, the last idea of Bruce Wayne we had was Adam West.
Yeah. But
from the 60s.
I can forgive that because at the time They didn't want to
Adam
make
West.
a dark Batman, so they went with campy.
Are you kidding me? Adam West is definitely up there on the list for the greatest Batman of all time.
But J Mac,
He is a fun
okay, you keep talking about Bruce Wayne and different, and he played this Bruce Wayne and Batman. The movie's called Batman. It's not called Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is
Right,
the
but
secondary
you have
character.
to-
The main
But
character
you have to
is
get
Batman.
Bruce Wayne over.
It
I
doesn't
would agree
like
a little bit.
more people are going to give a shit about what Batman does and they care about what Bruce Wayne does. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
I agree with the both of you, which makes me crazy. Because I do think you both are making excellent points there. I want to, because also Uncle Slan doesn't have forever much longer, and we spent the last 20 minutes talking about Batman instead of Marvel.
I know. Yeah, what happened? Shit.
I mean,
yeah, we really.
It just goes to show you how much better. It just goes to show you how much better DC is than Marvel.
No, I think what got us on that was talking about characters and how DC can't characters and can't keep continuity in their universe. I think it made for a better conversation because we all had differing opinions, whereas most of our opinions on Marvel seem to be agreeing.
Yeah,
but
even though DC's characters are better.
Yeah, we have no.
I will say
not.
that. I do love DC as well.
No, I listen. I like DC. I wish they would get their shit together. We have.
I mean, it's looking like they do.
I have totally
James
failed.
Gunn's had some great movies to release.
See,
totally
Marvel
failed
makes
against
better
those.
movies, but DC does better animated movies. If you ever watch any of those, their animated movies are superb, excellent. Like watch any of those, like they're always really, really good. Now the regular movies, you got a 50-50 shot whether it's gonna be.
Hey,
decent.
don't you dare talk about that Flash movie. It was the greatest movie ever made. Oh, I'm lying through my teeth because
like Morbius and Madam Web.
Adam Web was.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. Let's not get too far ahead. We got plenty to. Yeah, we're gonna get there and talk about.
I'm sorry, we were just talking about bad movies and shit, and that just kind of popped in my head. Those are probably the worst ones I can think of.
Yeah, so there's definitely we're going to come across a few. Marvel's not perfect. We are going to.
I mean, like a lot of their sequels are really bad.
What do y'all rate Thor?
Oh, that's right. Thank you for Johnny Lee for getting us back on track. And Andrew Paletto, I want to give a shout out to Andrew Paletto who tuned in and who was leaving comments. I agree with you that sometimes the bad guys have been lacking in Batman movies. I would argue Heath Ledger though with the Joker. So
yes, he was.
Episode.
I argue Jack Nicholson's greatest Joker.
Joker episode.
I
agree with you. Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger. Though that's the bar. So
and then we got Gerard Leto for some reason.
No. But we're
don't do that, brother.
No,
you do that.
No.
We don't have time for that.
We don't allow meth addicts on this show.
Exactly. I don't like Gerard Leto.
Yeah, we don't have time to talk about Jared Leto and his Joker.
You had Nicholson, who was a comic. You had Ledger, who was a terrorist, and you had Jared Leto, who was a crackhead.
He played his version of the Joker excellence, but it was just not a good version of the Joker.
Just going to hurt you.
That Joker.
Really? No, it was a meth addict dressed up in Joker paint is what it was.
Yes.
It was a meth addict dressed in Joker paint.
Completely.
The only good thing about that damn fucking movie was Margaret being Harley Quinn. Other than that, the fucking movie sucked.
Yes.
I would have rather seen Joaquin Phoenix's Joker in that movie. Because I think Joaquin Phoenix did a good version of the Joker.
Yeah, he definitely did better than Jared Leto, at least.
He did.
I'm going to take you all back to Thor now before we close this out. So let's get a rating on what everybody thinks of Thor. Slam, you're first.
Who, me?
Out of 5 headlocks.
Okay. As far as I would give it, because I like this more than I did Thor, because it was a decent origin story. Didn't go too deep, told just enough. There was lots of action, some sadness to it also. I'm going to give it like 4. Like I said, it wasn't the best one they had, but it was better than the Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
So I would give it a 4. 4 headlocks for sure.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Now I have to. Andrew just commented here. The bar isn't raised too high with the Jokers. Andrew, save it for the Joker episode. It's already. As soon as I get off this episode, I'm Slam, J Mac, you, and Superfly are all getting messages for the Joker episode. Okay,
That's
so
right.
everybody's getting messages for the Joker episode as soon as we're closed out. So
there'll be a hot time in the old town tonight.
I'm not even gonna.
Jack Nicholson was great.
Right.
I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna address.
He's a little hot under the collar.
I'm not even going to address Andrew's comment right now on the Jokers. We're going to save it for the Joker episode. But thank you for tuning in, Andrew, and go check out Popcorn and Whiskey, which is his show. J-Mac, what are your final thoughts and rating on Thor?
I'm going to give Thor 1.5 headlocks, and that's just because Anthony Hopkins was in it. And that's the only reason I'm going to give it 1.5. Is because Anthony Hopkins was in it.
On this one.
I absolutely, let's just get this out of the way. I hate the Thor movies.
Well,
I've tried to watch Ragnarok. I've tried to watch all of them.
Wow, that's your problem.
Terrible.
Don't watch that movie.
They're terrible. Thor is the worst character out of all these.
Thor.
No.
Again, I almost do agree a little bit with J-Mac, except I think Chris Hemsworth is doing a good job at playing Thor and giving us some vulnerability and giving us some, like, he's not this perfect god that he actually is. I think that's why I'm enjoying Chris Hemsworth as Thor and why I enjoy, to an extent, the Thor movies, because I think Chris Hemsworth is doing a good job at making him a vulnerable character. Because I'm with you, J-Mac. The Supermans, the gods, the characters who can't be killed and can't be injured and can't be wounded, I get bored with them so freaking quick.
Well, see, I can't say that because Superman's my favorite. So
mine too.
You are crazy. What? All right, but that's another conversation too, Jay.
Because I've read the
next
comics,
time
I
we're
know
talking
that
on
he
the
is not
phone.
what you're describing.
So, Johnny Lee, what's your take on Thor here? What's your rating?
With Thor, I'd have to give it a 4 out of 5 stars because it did everything that it needed to. It didn't give us too much. And it was the perfect in between before we got to the bigger movies because you just know we got Captain America coming, we got the Avengers coming. All this setup is being put in place. That's the reason why they had these movies coming out before Avengers.
Yeah, to build the universe.
I would rather watch Madam Web on repeat for 24 hours straight.
Have you seen this movie?
Watch Thor.
I don't think he's
watched it.
He hasn't seen Madam
It
Web.
was terrible. It was terrible.
No. They're terrible movies, and then they're like, awful movies.
Madam Web.
Like that's like Battlefield Earth or fucking.
I'd rather watch Blue Beetle or Shazam than I would Thor.
Nothing's worse.
Shazam. Blue Beetle's all right, but Shazam.
We're gonna talk about Battlefield Earth. We're gonna talk about Battlefield Earth, Slam. I've seen that movie, and it's bad and not bad at the same time.
I don't know. Like I said,
it was just horrible.
To me, it ranks up there with like Dragon Wars and shit. And if you haven't seen Dragon Wars, that's pretty much all I have to say. Y'all seen it? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Dragon Wars? Okay, then. Okay. See, everybody knows that's why they laughed. Like I said, one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah. All right. So Thor, for me, I'm going to give it a 4 stars, and then I'm going to take 1 off because of Natalie Portman. So I'm going to give it a 3-star movie. It was an excellent movie.
Oh, come on, J-Mac. You know you like Natalie Portman and her overexcised ego.
Yeah, I think Thor, the first Thor movie was actually a really good movie, and it would have been a 4-star if Natalie Portman wasn't in it. So I don't want to hear her talk anymore, and that's just the way it is.
You're going to have to when you have to review Thor, Love and Thunder.
No, I don't have to. I don't have to watch it again. I've seen all these movies plenty of times.
You know what if I'm going to be fair though, you know what my favorite part of Thor was?
What's that?
You're going to say the end. I'll take you out of the studio.
Right there at the end, when the words and the credits started showing on the movie.
J-Max, see, I'm gonna have to see. I told you I was gonna take you out if you said it, J-Max. See, you know what I'm gonna have to do that. I'm just gonna have to take you out. I can see you backstage. No, here we go.
I mean, that was the best part of the movie to me.
All right, and then the final.
Yes, I can get to the next one.
The end credit scene for Thor, and then we're gonna close this episode out because we've been going a little over an hour here. So the
I didn't make it that far.
Yeah, well, J-Mac, we know that you're not gonna. We might as well not even get your comment on the end credit scene.
At least he's honest.
Superfly, you want to talk about the end credit scene for Thor?
Teasing of Captain America. Hell yeah, because I'm telling you.
Slam looks like Slam. The final.
I'm still confused. Yeah, I'm
final credit.
I don't remember it, but I'm like, what happened at the post credit scene?
Wait, Johnny Lee, tell us what is it? Wait, I'm thinking because I just was about to.
That's what to the Texaracts or whatever.
Hold up, let me look real quick. I just need one moment, and I'll have it.
Why am I? Yeah,
I swear that the post credit scene.
I thought he just opened the suitcase to show that they had the Tesseracts or something like that. I didn't think it was.
I was about to just talk about the Captain America.
Oh, okay. Selvig is taken to a shield facility where Nick Fury opens a bridge. A mysterious cube-shaped object with which Fury says may hold untold power. An invisible Loki who survived his fall and arrived on Earth secretly prompts Selvig to agree.
Yes, that's right. Yes, and that's where we also got our first. It's teased before Thor. Thor's really the first open door to the Infinity Stones. That's really the first one that reveals to us where we're going with the universe. So,
well, a lot of people don't realize that there's a theory that Odin already had. There's a theory that he was the original Thanos, that he was trying to collect all the Infinity Stones, but then when he realized what it was going to cause, what it would do, he started scattering them across the universe. Because if you remember I can't remember which Thor movie it was, because they all are run together to me. It's the one where his daughter's got the antler ears and like she's the she deer.
That's Ragnarok.
Okay, yeah. Well, she's like walking through, and there's a Infinity Gauntlet standing.
Yeah, but that's supposed to be fake. No, that's supposed to be the fake one.
Right, but how did the giant elf dwarf guy know how to make an Infinity Gauntlet for Thanos if he hadn't already tried to make one for Odin?
That's interesting. That's an interesting fan theory. I like that. Yeah, even though you don't like Thor, you just gave us a cool little theory there, man.
Exactly.
Look at that. J-Mac even delivering even when he doesn't like what he's watching.
Right.
So that's a true professional right there. All right. When you can offer something contributive and substantive like that to the conversation, even though you despise the movie and give it a 1.5 headlock rating, then that's professionalism right there, buddy.
Fuck Roger Ebert.
You know what? Roger Ebert wouldn't even give you a 2 thumbs up.
All right. Well, that's all right. He can go sit on his thumb.
So, thank you, guys.
I mean, he does twiddle his thumbs a lot.
We're going to come back in 2 weeks. Slam, you want to join us again in 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We might need to try and do this at a different time, maybe a little later or a little earlier. I think we're getting crushed by Raw. So if we want some viewers to tune into these episodes, we might need to talk about maybe doing it a little earlier in the evening.
All right, that's fine.
A little later. So I'll reach out to everybody and we'll discuss that. So I hope you enjoyed it, at least if you were watching live, and if you're rewatching. We'll be back again in 2 weeks, and I believe the next 2 movies are we on Cap and Avengers?
Yep, Captain America and Avengers.
Yeah, so we're going to do Captain America, the first Avenger, and then we will talk about the Avengers, the first big, huge crossover movie with everybody. So that'll be
the Hulk never got his own standalone movie.
There's a reason for that. There's a reason that Marvel didn't own the rights to have a standalone Hulk movie. They had they had secondary rights. They could use him as a secondary character, but Fox owned the Hulk rights at the time when they were doing this.
Guess who owns the rights to Hulk now?
I believe Disney does.
Marvel has to pay Hogan to use the name Hulk.
Wow.
I thought they had already settled that or whatever. I thought that was settled a long time ago.
It's settled. It was settled a long time ago, but they still have to pay him to use it.
No.
He actually owns the rights to the name Hulk.
Only when it's Hulk.
In the 80s, the rights to the name Hulk came up. Somehow through business dealings, Marvel or whoever fumbled it all up. And Hogan ended up buying the name, and he's owned the name ever since.
Well, that's definitely
Hulk, Hulkster, all that.
That's why. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off, J-Mac, but that's why the movie's called The Incredible Hulk, because I think that alleviates them from using the Hulk trademark. If it's The Incredible,
it may.
But also, yes, they had to pay Fox, Uncle Slam, or whoever asked about the standalone Hulk movie. It's because Fox owned the rights, not Marvel, and they actually had to pay Fox. Johnny's
pissed off throwing shit now.
He's had enough. He's done.
He's bullshit, man. I know my facts.
Yeah. He's like, I know.
No.
I'm repeating this. I know why. So
fuck Hulk Hogan.
My phone just
wipes out everything.
Oh man, you know what, dude? Hey, this is, if nothing else, this has been a hell of a lot of fun of an episode, guys. So I'm
sir.
That's going on. So, but yeah, so we got Captain America and the Avengers movie in 2 weeks. So look for us. We'll be back. We'll advertise the time and stuff so that way everybody can see it.
In 2 weeks.
Check out Superfly Johnny Lee. He's the host of the Superfly Experience, and he's with the Nice Guy Andy crew. And then Uncle Man.
I've
had a long day.
Yes, I am, my man.
Uncle Flam, how you doing, Uncle Flam?
I'm doing all right. I'm the man.
I'm tired. Uncle
Man.
So Uncle Flam and J-Mac, they're from Headlocks Heels Havoc. Make sure you go check everybody out. Give them a follow, give them a like, and make sure you tell them that Mayhem Media sent you. Until next time, I am your host, the Bad Guy J.D. And that's the end.